Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for WWE Backlash 2023. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm going to need you to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts of Backlash 2023. I would greatly appreciate that. Now, let's get into the show. So, Backlash, going into it, I had, throughout the whole entire ride, it was like somewhat excitement because I do believe WWE has some great momentum heading out of WrestleMania, minus the Raw after, of course. But with how some of the matches went out, how they were just kind of thrown together, not much storyline built. Like, we never got the explanation for why Brock attacked Cody. Omos and Seth were just thrown together. Io and Bianca had somewhat of a story, but also felt like Bianca was second fiddle to Damage Control, which doesn't make any sense because Bianca is the champion. The only two matches that really felt like they had full-on stories was the Bloodline, which does feel like it's starting to run its course a little bit, and we might need to end up, but I do trust in that storyline because it's been so good for so long. Damian and Bad Bunny, even though it was more LWO versus Judgment Day and then Bad Bunny was thrown in, but it was still overall smooth, along with Rhea versus Zelina. Somewhat. It was mainly still Ray versus Dom, and then Bad Bunny and Damian just kind of got pushed into the limelight. But it is what it is, like I said. So not much built storyline-wise for it, but the matchup seemed pretty good. Then we got to Friday. Last night, or what's today? May 5th. Friday, May 5th, 2023, depending on when you watch this. And then the Puerto Rico crowd came to life. And I was like, okay, no, this show's going to be good. So I was excited. After Friday, I got excited. Then the show starts. And we kick off with Bianca versus Io Sky. And a lot of people were surprised that Io was getting cheered more than Bianca. It caught me off guard, but I wasn't that surprised either because from my understanding is that Io spent a lot of time wrestling in Mexico and in Puerto Rico for a little bit, learning when she was like first starting out, and her style is part lucha libre. So I wasn't that surprised at it, and I was very pleased that Bianca like read the crowd and went, okay. And I saw her working a little bit more heelish. I mean, she was being more outlandish with it, doing the whole one arm bit. I was like, okay, Bianca's a great performer. And I was loving the match. Like, this was, to me, like, prime Triple H era NXT, where the four horsewomen were down there, borderline flirting with the Bayley versus Sasha Brooklyn Takeover match 1 type. Maybe I'm getting hyperbole comparing it to that match, but the atmosphere and the moves they were doing, I love the whole beginning with the boo, Bianca did something, then yay, Io did something. And then the powerbomb from the top rope. There's a lot of spots I could have gone through. However, I was not the hugest fan of the finish. And I think as it was going, I think an audible should have been called. Because look, like I said, Bianca has served second fiddle in this storyline because it's more about Damage Control breaking up. And I think they've only postponed the breakup because Ronda and Shayna are injured. Well, Ronda's injured. Shayna's just waiting for Ronda to get healed anyway. And then once they lose that tag title opportunity, then the breakup will probably be imploded. But that's a side quest. They should have called an audible and not have Bayley and Dakota come out. And I see what they were doing. Like when Bayley was coming out, it did look like Dakota was trying to stop. Like, no, don't do this. And then she was using the help, and then Bayley grabbed the hair, and the ref said no. Then that caused a miscommunication. That's what caused the loss. The reason why they should just not done it because of what the crowd was doing. Like, Io was obviously the face in that match with how much behind they were of her. I totally butchered that. I totally butchered that sentence, but y'all get what I'm saying. And Bianca was working heel. Would have been just fine if Bianca just went over, and you could have still used that for the breakup, because you're like, well, where was Bayley and Dakota? Why didn't they come out? Don't they usually help? Io and Dakota always came out when Bayley was fighting for the belt. That could have been a storyline they could have used. So I would have liked for them to gone with that audible and just have Bianca go over clean, because either way, they weren't going to be happy with Bianca winning, retaining her belt. But I mean, Bianca is such a mega superstar. Just make the storylines more centered around her as opposed to playing second fiddle to other things or being in tag team matches with the tag team champions. Let's just, really solidify Bianca. I know she's had a long reign. I know some people are kind of over it. I'm not. But let's just, if she's the champion, she's the main focus, right? Not the side piece. Okay? So if I had to rate that match out of the, what we do, 5 stars, right? I would give it 3 stars even. 3 stars even. Loses 0.5 due to the finish alone. Then we move to Seth Rollins versus Omos. This match had no business being as good as it did. It had no business whatsoever. I had no expectations going into it, and I had no idea spots that they were going to do. I had no idea how this was going to finish up, which was exciting to me because usually I can play it out a little bit in my head and be like, okay, well, they have to do this before we get done with this. Okay, this seems like we checked off everything and we can go through it. Not with this match because, again, there was no storyline built around it. And I liked what they were going around about it. This was probably Omos' best match ever since joining the main roster, which is saying something because he had a match with AJ Styles as well. And they were just doing the cut down the tree storyline throughout the whole entire match. And I mean, there's only really one spot to really talk about, right? Well, 2. I mean, Omos doing a back body drop on his knees was pretty cool. I don't know why Seth thought he was going to be able to do a pedigree. And then Seth doing the ultra stomp from the top rope. That was really, really cool. Great match. Had no business being as good as it was. I'm going to give it 2.75 out of the 5. And yeah, Seth Rollins should be the first World Heavyweight Champion. But let's not discredit Omos. Let's not discredit Omos. He deserves all the flowers that he gets. That Seth is getting as well. He deserves as much flowers as Seth is getting. I'm sorry, guys. I obviously can't speak today. Now move on to match number 3, which was what? It was Rhea versus Zelina, right? Yeah. Rhea versus Zelina. I don't really have much of a comment on it. I mean, I'm happy for Zelina. She had gear of the night, for sure. Probably gear of the year, in all honesty. I mean, she looked stunning and with the Puerto Rican flag and just, she looked awesome. She looked absolutely awesome. And Rhea's a great talent as well. And the match was fine. It's just, I couldn't believe. I just couldn't, not for any sure second, no matter how loud the crowd was, that they wanted to believe and they were bought in and they were like, maybe she can. I just knew deep down she's not winning. So I just really couldn't fully invest to it, and I knew it was just a ride until the riptide and doing that classic Rhea pin that we always do. Again, not a bad match. It was still fine. Zelina probably shouldn't do 619s anymore. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate on it. I mean, 2.5 seems low, but if I'm getting Bianca and Io, and that's the better match, and that's 3, and then the second match is 2.75, we'll give this one 2.5. All right, so this is 2.5. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just there's nothing to take away from it. Then the main event, which is what I should be saying, but what should have been the main event, Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny. Match was awesome. I think it was very, very smart that early on to show Damian was going to win. Damian was going to win, and he did not need any weapons, and he had the pin, the uno, dos, tres, but then he pulled Bad Bunny up, and he just got too cocky before we just knocked this all the way up to 11. I think that was smart booking, and that was smart planning to keep Damian strong, because then everyone could take the way of, well, if Damian just would have just not gotten cocky and lift the shoulder up, he would have won, and we would have been on our way. But luckily he didn't, because the ride that they took us on was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to share something with y'all. If you're new to this channel, this is mainly movie reviews. My main passion is movies. Wrestling is like it's like a second passion. And I have this dream, right? And let's say I get lucky and I accomplish this dream and I become a famous director. I direct movies and I have a big enough name that WWE wants to call me, or AEW, any big wrestling promotion calls me up and says, hey, we want you to be on the show. Would you want to do anything? And I would say yes. And the main thing I would want to do is, like, I would want to take a crazy ass bump And 2, I want to be the best-selling celebrity guest that wrestling has ever offered. Bad Bunny is making it really hard for me to accomplish that dream. When he took that bump, when he took the Falcon Arrow on the outside through the tables, when there's cement on the bottom, I was like, damn it, I don't know how I'm going to top that. I'm not going to be Jeff Hardy and jump 10 stories in a row. I'm not going to jump off Hell in a Cell. Damn it, I don't know what to do now. Yeah, I mean, bunnies do fly, and I mean, his ovation when he came out. And then we just overbooked the crap out of it with Carlitos showing up, and then, oh crap, I can't remember his name. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, y'all, I cannot remember his name. Him coming out with the LWO, and then everyone's fighting each other. Just an absolutely fun match. It was match of the night, and it should have been the main event. It should have been the main event. 4.75 stars. Would have been given a 5. I did think it went a little too long. I do think it went a little too long. Not like too long where I'm like, oh, I'm over it. Like maybe 2 minutes. Like maybe 2 minutes over. I'm just like, okay, it's about time to wrap this up. And they did. But I never want to have that feeling where I'm like, oh, man, that was so good. And just be completely satisfied with it. So yeah, 4.75 only because I think it went on a little bit too long. But again, enjoyed really everything, the whole match. Then the 6-man tag. I'm not going to have really many notes for y'all, as if there is any notes. This is mainly off the top of my head and just by memory. I zoned out during this one. I'll say this. The Bloodline storyline to me, it just feels like we're in a bunch of filler episodes. I'm listening to Roman, okay? And I do believe he has a bigger plan with his storyline, because I know he has input in it, and that he's like, look, you got to pay attention for more than 20 seconds, and that, you know, we're making filet mignon when we are doing our storylines within the Bloodline. So I hear him. In that case, there's just a bunch of filler episodes right now, and there's just not much investment. The whole lead up to this, the whole ending was the exact same. One of each member is fighting each other, and then there's interference. It was like that for the whole entire build up to the 6-man tag. And then the Jay and Solo stuff did catch my attention, but that was towards the end. And that's when I started being really invested in the match. I was surprised the Bloodline won. And I think it was smart the way they went about it. But yeah, again, I don't have many notes because I was so tired out from Damian versus Bad Bunny. And then it took me a minute to get into it. And then when I really started getting invested was when the Jay and Solo stuff was going on. It was when Jimmy kicked Jay, which I knew was an accident. And I was like, oh, stuff's about to happen. That's when I started getting invested. But yeah, not many notes. 2.75. We'll give it 2.75 for the story beats at the end. Now for the main event. Should have gone first. just get it done with and let Brock get on his flight back. I really think it's only the main event because of Brock, and Brock was probably like, I'm not going to Puerto Rico just to go out first and then fly back to Canada. Like it just, because I'm not going to land until the day of the pay-per-view. So just keep me at the main event to make sure Brock stays happy. I know that like seems like pettiness on my part for like putting all the blame on him, but I just really feel like there's no way they thought Bad Bunny was not the main event, right? Like there's no way they did not think that, and they had to change their plans a little bit. Anyway, it's the main event, and you know I'm a huge Cody fan, as y'all see. I'm a big fan of his. Didn't really care for how this match went out. Honestly, I thought he was going to get squashed. I thought this was going to be like a 5 minutes. Brock's going to destroy him. And, you know, it's just going to be a bigger ladder to climb on Cody's way back to redemption to fight Roman Reigns. But no, it turns out we are basically just completely doing the 2012 Cena storyline at full throttle because Cena lost to The Rock, and then he gets jumped by Brock the night after WrestleMania. They have a fight at that upcoming pay-per-view. Brock bleeds, then Cena wins. If I would not have said Cena at any point of it, y'all wouldn't be able to, or if I did not say Rock. If I would have said A white guy loses to a Samoan in the main event of WrestleMania who claims it is the biggest match of their life. And on the following night, Brock Lesnar comes out, jumps him, destroys him, and then they have a match at the following pay-per-view. And then Brock's going to bleed during that match, and then that's going to give that person the upper hand to sneak away the win and then leave. Y'all wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the storylines, right? So I don't know what's next for Cody at this point. I guess he has to fight Adam Pearce, because I believe in 2012 John Cena fought John Laurinaitis after he got done with Brock, right? So he has to fight Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce is going to go away, and this is what's going to bring back general managers at this point. I'm joking, but I might not be, depending on how it goes on Monday. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to take away from this match either, and you could tell the crowd was spent during this match, because they were quiet for the most part. And I don't think that's anything to Brock versus Cody. I think they were laying it in, and I think it was smart that Cody attacked Brock during his entrance, and that gave him some leeway, and Cody looked really cool coming out of it. And the blood was also a nice spot too, which I'm not sure if it was bladed or hard way, because he does hit it, but he also moved his glove. Like, if you go back, you'll see that he moves his glove like this. I don't know if the blade was in there, then he cut it. And I don't know if they got approved for it either. So I could really see it going either. I could see it being either hard way or Brock hit a blade in his glove and went like that to bust himself open. So yeah, overall Backlash was really good in the first half. But after Damian and Bad Bunny, it struggled a little bit for me. Which is why overall I'm giving a 9 out of 10. Oh, I didn't rank the Brock versus Cody match. I'm going to give it the same as Zelina and Rhea, 2.5 out of 5 stars. I gave it more points because it surprised me. It surprised me more. I actually think Rhea and Zelina did better than Brock versus Cody. Might be a hot take, but hey, that is just me. So yeah, overall for the show is a 9 out of 10. And to recap all the ratings, Bianca versus Io was 3.5. What was second? Omos versus Seth is, no. Io versus Bianca was 3. Omos versus Seth was 2.75. Rhea versus Zelina was 2.5. Damian versus Bad Bunny was 4.75. 6-man tag match was the 2.75. And then Brock versus Cody was 2.5 as well. You know what? Yeah, we're going to make Io versus Bianca 3.5. And we're going to move the 6-man up to 3. That's the final rating for me. Hey, this is me, okay? Take it or leave it. So yeah, if this was your first time here, hit that subscribe button. I do plan on doing more wrestling videos on the channel to mix in with the movie stuff that I do. Leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts of Backlash. And again, like this video if you did enjoy it. And I'll see you here next time at Lemon Studios.